Hi, I'm Scott Sorrell. I'm here with Steve Aiken and Lindsay Beaton with Pet Food Industries. We're putting the final touches on a very successful 2025 Pet Food Forum. Steve, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of give us an idea of an overview of what is the Pet Food Forum all about.
So the Pet Food Forum is an annual conference and exhibition. Really, it's a technical meeting with an expo attached, making it a very unique experience for professionals in the pet food market globally. And it's really 100% focused on all the technologies that go into how pet foods and treats are made, including not only the formulation part of it, but the packaging, the marketing, the actual plant services where the products are actually made and extruded and or formed, and then from there to distribution and then to the next part of the supply chain, which is retail.
So, who is the audience that this forum is designed for specifically?
It's going to be for those who product formulate,
Okay.
R&D, food science. That's really the core. Those are involved in nutrition or ingredient technologies. Um, you're going to have some smaller to mid-sized companies where the brand owner is here. That person probably wears multiple hats, works with consultants
Mhm.
to formulate, and then they work, on contract with co-packing to manufacture their products. You might get some senior level execs, mainly in the procurement area, and or science that are from the larger manufacturers that are here. And then, those allied that include, like I said already, the co-packers, but also academia, government, and regulatory.
Excellent. And so, over the last 2.5 days, how many presentations, technical presentations, would you say have taken place?
You know what? I usually count that up, and I have a general idea this year. I think we had two keynotes, around 21 concurrent sessions, or breakouts as we call them. We had 20 tech talks over here just to the right on the show floor. We had several presentations and poster presentations that Lindsay's going to get into from our Pet Food Forum student program. We had a Women in Pet Food leadership, which is a new initiative for us, concurrent session as well, along with a reception. And we had pet charities here on the show floor.
Okay.
So really, there's a lot to choose from, for anyone that's coming here. We try to really pack this event with a lot of value.
Yeah, cool. Lindsay, I understand you're in charge of the Pet Food Forum student program. Give me an overview of what that's all about and the intended purpose.
I am. The student program has become a combination of my baby and a passion project. It was in the fledgling stages when I took it over via self-campaigning for it. I really wanted it several years ago. And we pride ourselves on being a bridge for the pet food industry and also a an educational resource. And what better way to be an educational resource than to go straight to where the education first begins? And so the student program at Pet Food Forum has multiple components. The primary one is just to get students here, get them exposed to the industry. They have a deeply discounted admission that allows them to go everywhere. The show floor, they can talk to anybody they want. They can go to all of our educational sessions, all of our networking sessions, and really see what the industry is all about, because the future of the industry involves the people who will be coming
Yeah.
into it. And so we want people to know. The secondary component to the program is there is a separate research track. So students have a separate submission process for their research abstracts that goes through committee. And if they're accepted, they present at forum. So they can either present via poster or they can present via a PowerPoint presentation. It actually has a competition component. So the judges are anybody who attends the sessions, and they provide critical feedback that I pass to the students afterwards to help them refine their presentations. I kind of pride myself on being a low stress environment for everybody from undergrad to PhD students to present their research to the industry and refine it for eventual publication or presentation at scientific conferences. And it has grown to include both domestic and international schools. In fact, the PowerPoint presenter today is from Wageningen University in
The
the
Netherlands.
Netherlands. And that's the first time we've had representation for that university here.
Excellent.
And then a student from K-State won the poster segment of the presentations. But we try to get everybody, and we're growing it every year, and just really make sure that they get access to the industry and that the industry gets access to them. And I've been doing it for long enough that I've seen people come into the program as grad students who are now, there's a professor at Iowa State University
Cool.
who came in as a grad student, and I followed her research all the way through. And then there are several people who are in industry now who started off as students as part of the program and got interviews and jobs from attending Pet Food Forum.
Awesome. So how many programs and students were involved in the program this year?
So this year, the number of people who presented research, there were 14 presentations total from 5 or 6 different universities. It stays a little bit small due to the fact that there are not a lot of companion animal nutrition programs in the world that are dedicated specifically to that. One of my primary functions in the last couple of years has been to try to expand that to include people doing research that might have anything to do with the pet industry. So anything from equipment to ingredients that might have applications in pet food, because sometimes people just don't know that the industry exists.
Yeah.
And so being able to expose students to an entirely different industry than something they might have thought of is a huge component and a boon for the industry as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Lindsay, another thing, I understand you are not a novice of the podcast industry. So tell me about your podcast. How do people
So,
find you?
so my podcast is called Trending Pet Food. One of the big ways to find it is on petfoodindustry.com, which is our website and where we host all of the transcripts, and it has its own section on the website. It can also be found on anywhere that you look for podcasts, and it is an educational business podcast for anybody involved in the pet food industry. I've had guests from CEOs talking business strategy to veterinarians talking about being the bridge between consumers and the industry, to students highlighting their own research. And I actually live recorded a podcast today that is going to focus on wild game as a novel protein, specifically coming from South Africa. And we were able to get into the history of the wild game industry on the African continent. And
Yeah,
it was
pretty cool.
absolutely fascinating.
With
So
Angelique?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she was awesome.
Yep.
I talked to her as well. She's a good one.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. Steve, you also have, in addition to the technical programs, a student program, a robust trade show aspect to the Pet Food Forum. Talk to me a little bit about that. How many exhibitors do you have? How many attendees come through?
Well, we've been gradually growing over the years. This year we have just under 700 booth spots sold, but that's just right around 400 companies total.
Okay.
Total attendance is right around 3,800. That was the registration coming in. You know, typically there's a percentage that don't show. I got that number just earlier. We had 95% of that here that showed up,
Yeah.
which is a great number.
Yes.
Because typically it's 10% that don't show.
So I imagine you've been around, visited most of them. Any highlights?
You know, there's always highlights. There's some new technologies. You know, there's some application, you know, type of companies. But really, the main goal here is to provide an environment where our exhibitors can meet with companies that can buy their products and services.
Yeah.
And so we try to let them do that rather than us go booth to booth and sell while we're here. We really don't let our salespeople sell or any salespeople from media sell in this show, simply for the fact that the people that are here to do business with their customers.
Yeah. So we're putting the final touches on 2025. When does 2026 planning begin?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that and what can we expect next year?
Well, we're going to continue to try to create, you know, lots of different opportunities to connect. Here, we're going to expand our Women in Pet Food Leadership Initiative. You know, Lindsay will be hard at work at looking at the next iteration of our student program. We are talking with some people about how to really beef that student program up. I think with some of the people you've already had on your podcast earlier. We will be in the other side of the exhibit hall.
Okay. So you're going to be
Um,
here in
yeah,
Kansas
you'll still
City
be here
next
in
year?
Kansas City. The dates are April 27 to 29.
Okay.
Um, you know, for all practical purposes, booth sales will begin on August 1st, and registration will begin on or about September 1st.
Yeah.
And an exciting news to share too is that once we get past next year, we will have the whole convention center starting in 2027.
Oh,
So we can get really creative with how we design the floor, maybe bring some meeting rooms up so it's all kind of very easy and convenient for people to get to. Don't take that as there's any plans already being made.
yeah.
These are just some ideas that I have and that certainly the team and I will be talking about. We do get together with an editorial and an exhibitor advisory group midsummer to evaluate the post-event surveys, and we get their feedback as well. And then from there, we really start to plan based on some of that feedback.
Yeah, good. Looking forward to next year. I can tell you, as an exhibitor, Balchem appreciates the relationship that we have with Pet Food Industries,
Oh,
and
thank you.
coming
Yeah,
to the Pet Food Forum.
we
It's been
appreciate it too.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a great week for us. So I want to thank you for that, and I look forward to seeing you guys next year in Kansas City here on April
27 to 29.
27 to 29. We'll see you there.
We'd love to hear your comments or ideas for topics and guests, so please reach out via email at anh.marketing@balchem.com with any suggestions, and we'll work hard to add them to the schedule. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on your way out. You can request your Real Science Exchange t-shirt in just a few easy steps. Just like or subscribe to the Real Science Exchange and send us a screenshot along with your address and t-shirt size to anh.marketing@balchem.com. Balchem's Real Science Lecture Series of webinars takes place on the first Tuesday of every month, with the top research and nutrition topics that will impact your business. We also include small ruminant, monogastric, and companion animal-focused topics throughout the year. Visit balchem.com/realscience to see the upcoming topics and to register for future webinars. You can also access past webinars and search for the topics most important to you.